Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into something truly mind-bending. We are exploring a radical new artistic movement, one that perfectly bridges the massive gap between cutting-edge quantum physics and the deepest wellsprings of human creativity. Seriously, we're looking at a complete paradigm shift in how we perceive art, matter, and the universe itself. But to really understand where this movement comes from, we actually have to start by asking the defining question of our current decade. Think about it. When artificial intelligence can generate literally any image perfectly, calculating every single pixel in mere seconds, what exactly is the point of human art? If the machine totally saturates the eye, does it just leave the real world in the dark? Well, in total defiance of that AI dilemma, that realm of infinitely reproducible, cold, flat digital algorithms, contemporary artists are pushing back hard. They're turning to hyper-materialism. They are fully embracing extreme physical mass, unique textures, and even deliberate human errors. They're making art that absolutely demands to be seen in the physical world because it's heavy, it's thick, and it is undeniably real. Which brings us to Section 4, La sublimazione della luce, or the sublimation of light. So, to achieve this sublimation, basically moving from heavy materials to pure energy, artists are turning to some wild materials. We're talking industrial translucent resins and optical polymers. They're creating these incredibly immersive light and space geometries using neon gas and lasers. And fascinatingly, they are using extreme pigments like Vantablack. Because it absorbs 99.9% of light, it completely tricks the human eye. Looking at it feels like staring into a flat, endless void. The visual mass is completely erased, and the light itself becomes the actual pigment. They aren't just painting light anymore. They are literally sculpting it. Moving right along to Section 6, Cos'è la superirradianza? What exactly is superradiance? Okay, let's zoom in from the macroscopic art world down to the microscopic realm of quantum physics, where we encounter this concept of superradiance. You can think of it as a cosmic avalanche. Instead of atoms just randomly releasing light, an excited group actually cooperates. It's like a perfectly synchronized stadium wave, emitting an incredibly intense, rapid, and coherent pulse of light. But in the context of this new art movement, superradiance isn't just a scientific phenomenon, it's a conceptual tool. Imagine an artwork where matter basically accumulates energy until it explodes into a single, blinding flash of coherent light. It all really boils down to one foundational, incredibly poetic desire. Noi vogliamo racchiudere la galassia in un puntino. We want to enclose the galaxy in a dot. That's the ultimate goal here, to compress the infinite, swirling complexity of a cosmic galaxy into a single, living, microscopic dot of pure energy. It's about taking the macrocosm and containing it entirely within the absolute microcosm. Section 9, Il manifesto fotonico, the photonic manifesto. Now, the philosophical core of this movement rests on three deeply connected pillars. First up, we have the paradox of flesh and energy, where physical matter stops being just an inert object and actually becomes a threshold for a luminous explosion. Because of this, the art requires the second pillar, collective coherence. This means creating a perpetual source of liquid light where all the elements cooperate, exactly like those superradiant atoms we talked about. And that perpetual energy leads us directly to the third and honestly most fascinating element, the active gaze. Now, this active gaze is slightly unsettling, but man, is it captivating. The artwork is no longer static. Through advanced parabolic geometries and lenticular optics, the universe that is condensed within the art actually tracks and observes you, the viewer. You aren't just looking at the art anymore. The art is dynamically looking right back at you. Section 12, L'alchimia di materiali, the alchemy of materials. So to physically build a sculpture that actually generates light from within, you need some seriously cutting-edge alchemy. Starting at the very core, artists are using nanometric plasmonic gold and quantum dots. This is microscopic tech that essentially traps and amplifies light into an intense cooperative burst. Then, this glowing core is housed inside a highly conductive solid bronze structure, which acts as a secondary reflector. From there, the light is channeled outwards through advanced borosilicate glass and woven optical fibers. And finally, to frame the whole piece, Vantablack and synthetic sapphire are used to completely erase the physical base, condensing the surrounding light. It is quite literally high-tech engineering flawlessly meeting ancient goldsmithing. But how do you actually put all that together? Section 14, Costruire la galassia, building the galaxy. Building this ultimate photonic organism is a master class in modern manufacturing. It all kicks off by casting a logarithmic bronze skeleton to perfectly guide the path of the light. Once you have that, the optical glass body is intricately micro-engraved, and then it's carefully coated in ultra-thin plasmonic gold leaves. We're talking layers that are literally nanometers thick. Once that structure is set, it gets seeded with nanoconstellations of those glowing quantum dots. And finally, to bring the whole thing to life, hidden laser waveguides are installed deep within the piece. This creates the breathtaking illusion that the matter itself is perpetually sublimating into radiant light. Now, while that might sound like a multi-million-dollar Nobel-level dream, the reality is actually far more accessible, and honestly, that's what makes this so cool. Meet the Living Point prototype. For just $300 to $800, anyone in a maker lab today can test this exact concept. By just substituting the expensive fused silica with optical acrylic, swapping the plasmonic gold for traditional gold leaf, and driving the light with high-intensity LEDs instead of lasers, the core concept of superradiance, a galaxy compressed into a point that actively observes the viewer, can be built right now. Section 17, Il culmine, the climax, the tripartite resonance. Ultimately, this art isn't just about creating something pretty to look at. It actually triggers a simultaneous transformation across three distinct states. First, the object itself totally ceases to be an opaque barrier and fundamentally becomes living radiation. Second, the observer's gaze is hooked, perfectly integrated right into the optical alignment of the artwork. And finally, your mind recognizes its own profound geometry reflecting within the cosmic spiral of the art. In this exact moment of resonance, the separation between the artwork, the human mind, and the cosmos completely collapses into a single shared quantum field. Which leads us right to the final, triumphant declaration of the manifesto. La materia ha finito di pesare. Da oggi risuona e irradia. Matter has finished weighing. From today, it resonates and radiates. It's the proclaimed death of heavy, inert matter and the true birth of radiant, living energy in art. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. If the universe condensed within the artwork is actively looking back at you, are you still just a spectator? Or, in that moment of quantum resonance, have you actually become an active part of the galaxy itself? Think about that the next time you look at a screen or a piece of physical art. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep looking, and I'll catch you next time.